I've analyzed every major new condo coming here to Fort Lauderdale, from beachfront branded towers to the boutique riverfront projects. And today I'm going to be breaking down what's hype and what actually matters for you. Because right now, Fort Lauderdale is going through one of the biggest development booms or waves that we've seen in a long time. Cranes are everywhere in the sky, billions are being invested, and luxury brands are actually entering into this market. But most buyers are just looking at renderings. They're not actually looking at the strategy. So let's talk about what nobody's really explaining about these buildings. In this video, I'm gonna walk you through every major new condo coming here to Fort Lauderdale, where they're located, what the price tier they're at, and when they're delivering. And most importantly, what it actually means for you as a buyer or an investor. So let's get into it. Before we get into anything though, let's zoom out here for a second, because Fort Lauderdale is not the same market that it was 10, maybe 15, even 20 years ago. For a long time, this was considered a quieter beach alternative to Miami. We've always been Miami's little brother. Smaller skyline, older combo inventory, slower development cycle, better boating though, between you and I. But that has completely changed here over probably the last 5 or 6 years. Right now, we're seeing billions of dollars being invested into luxury residential towers, beachfront, riverfront, right even on Olas, even north towards Pompano, aka Pompa, yes. And the type of projects coming out, totally different than ones that we've seen in the past. What used to be mid-rise 80s and 90s condo buildings are now becoming branded luxury towers, rooftop pools, 5-star amenities, honestly, full service concierge, private elevators. This is no longer just a Florida condo as a lot of people think of it. This is really institutional level luxury development. We're seeing global luxury brands entering into Fort Lauderdale. We're talking the Ritz-Carlton, St. Regis, Viceroy, more coming behind them. And that matters because branded residences historically outperform non-branded buildings in resale, especially for relocation buyers coming from places like that of New York, Boston, maybe even Chicago, who expect a certain level of service. When someone moves here from Manhattan, they recognize a name like that of the Ritz or the St. Regis, even the Mandarin, which is technically in Miami. That creates confidence. At the same time, we're seeing two completely different development styles at the end of the day. On one side of things, we have 250 to 350 unit towers, even a 700 unit tower. Massive amenity decks, state-of-the-art fitness centers and spas, resort-style energy. You literally don't have to leave these buildings. Then on the other side of things, 50 to 100 unit boutique buildings. More privacy, higher price per square foot sometimes, lower density, and a different lifestyle. And buyers are starting to split based on the lifestyle preference, not just the price. Now another big shift, the buyer profile. A huge percentage of these new development buyers are actually people relocating from the Northeast in California. They're selling maybe $3 to $5 million homes or condos in places like that of New York, Boston, and even LA, and then coming here and expecting comparable quality. That demand is really what's helping to fuel this development boom. And oddly enough, we are also seeing people move from out west, so places like Pembroke Pines, Weston, Coral Springs, Parkland, and downsize and want to live that Fort Lauderdale lifestyle, especially now that the kids are out of the house. Now here's something important most people don't think about: the deposit structures. Most people think that you need to pay cash or have to put your full deposit down today. Now, meanwhile, most developers really only require 5 to 10% at contract, another 10 to 20% during construction, usually for a total of 30% down by the time the building tops off and construction is complete on the outside. All in chunks though, to make it easy. Don't owe the balance until you actually take possession, usually 70%, which can either be cash or financed. The best part though, you're actually locking in today's pre-construction pricing, giving you plenty of time to save, sell your current home, or even give you the flexibility to leave the money in the market. Now, this market here in Fort Lauderdale is different. This is not a speculative frenzy. It's primarily end users, second home buyers, extremely cash heavy, and a lot of relocation clients. Developers are better capitalized as well. Banks are stricter, buyers are putting down more money and real money. Could prices fluctuate? Of course, that comes like in anything. But structurally, this is a much more stable cycle than the pre-crash condo boom. And that's why this development wave feels completely different. And honestly, you can even see it's different. Now that we have and understand the big picture, let's break down where these projects are actually falling, because not all of them serve the same buyer. All right, let's start at the very top of the market, the beachfront and beachside ultra luxury tier. Now, this is where Fort Lauderdale is legitimately competing with places like the Palm Beach and even Miami Beach. And these aren't just condos. These are trophy assets for a lot of them. Take St. Regis Bahia Mall. This project is absolutely massive. It's 39 acres, fully waterfront, both beachfront and in the back on the intercoastal. So you have everything on top of a world-class marina right in the heart of the yachting capital of the world, Fort Lauderdale, also nicknamed the Venice of America. You've got 1,800 feet of direct beachfront with a private beach club access, a 250 slip marina that can handle yachts up to 350 feet, open intracoastal views with the daily boat parade as boats go up and down, and sunset skyline views over Las Olas. And structurally, it's impressive. 3 total towers, 2 of which are private residential towers with just 80 residences per tower and only 4 per floor. That's low density. And then you have a 3rd tower that operates as a resort with 79 fully furnished residences. You're also looking at over 37,000 square feet of private amenities just for the residences alone, plus another 65,000 square feet tied into the resort side. So as you can see, this is full service, white glove, institutional level development. It's not casual beachfront living. But now let's compare that to Selene. Selene is 196 residences across 2 beachfront towers directly across from Las Olas Beach. And it's the only new 300-foot, 26-story beachfront tower in that immediate stretch for now. Residences go up to over 3,200 square feet and the sky penthouses exceed 5,000 square feet. Plus you can move in today. This is still luxury, but it's less hotel branded and more design forward, resort style living. You have an elevated amenity deck, the pool, strong fitness component. It's a beachfront lifestyle without the full hotel integration. Not to mention, again, you can move in today. And the pricing here starts around $1.5 million. So it sits below the St. Regis tier, but still firmly in this beachfront luxury tier. Now, Pier 66 is different. It's a Fort Lauderdale icon that's been completely reimagined. This is more a lifestyle-driven and marina-centric type vibe, less about quiet residential privacy, even though it is pretty private, and more embedded in a waterfront destination. Think yachting culture, dining activations, resort energy, and a full-service marina. If you love boating and being in the mix, this one definitely hits a little bit different. And then you have the new Ritz-Carlton residences, which are actually coming back to Fort Lauderdale Beach, but this time you're gonna be on the intracoastal side. This is pure global brand recognition. For a relocation buyer from Manhattan, Boston, maybe even DC in the DMV area, that name alone reduces perceived risk with some of these new condos. Full service, high touch, higher HOA, full concierge though, and a very strong resale psychology. All of these projects sit at the top of Fort Lauderdale's pricing spectrum. You're looking at anywhere between $2 million plus, $3 million plus, $5 million plus penthouses. At this level, you're not buying square footage. What you're really doing is buying positioning and location. There are only so many true beachfront branded towers that can ever be built here. Fort Lauderdale does not have unlimited oceanfront land like a lot of people think. Long-term though, scarcity matters. This tier is strong for long-term hold, strong for brand-driven resale, and very lifestyle focused. But at the end of the day, it's also not ideal for people looking as maybe short-term investors, buyers who are extremely HOA sensitive. These will be higher HOAs. People looking for heavy rental flexibility. There's some flexibility, but not like you're thinking. These are not Airbnb buildings at the end of the day. These are generational hold type assets. I had a client who was relocating from the DMV area recently, and she told me, Joe, I really don't want like an old school Florida condo. They wanted recognizable brand equity, white glove service, a building that their friends who come and visit them would recognize immediately. That's exactly who this tier attracts. Now, not everyone wants or honestly needs beachfront trophy pricing. So let's shift inland and talk about the downtown and waterfront tier, because from a value and livability standpoint, that's where things really start to get interesting. And by the way, real quick, if you're watching this because you're seriously considering buying one of these brand new condos, this is exactly what my team and I do every day, along with enjoying this every day. And imagine this. A lot of buyers don't realize you don't have to walk into a sales center alone. We actually help our clients compare everything from the building side by side, breaking down the deposit structures, understanding rental rules, HOA differences, brand value, resale psychology, and even negotiate incentives that aren't really advertised, but we do know about them. So if you want help making the smartest decision for your situation, reach out. We'll build out a clear strategy for you. We want to be your real estate resource of choice. All right, now let's keep going. Now let's shift inland slightly because not everyone wants the tourist energy of the beach. It's not for everyone. And this is where the Riverwalk and Las Olas developments start to get really interesting. You're seeing cranes like these pop up everywhere. You have projects like that of Six in Rio, Ombelle, Andare, and Viceroy that all sit within walking distance right here to Las Olas Boulevard and the Cheesecake Factory. I love the Cheesecake Factory. That means restaurants, coffee shops, bars, art galleries, the Riverwalk, even the water taxi. This is a true urban lifestyle. You can park your car and not touch it for days. Honestly, you probably don't even need a car if you live downtown. And that's something that we're seeing more and more demand for, especially from relocation buyers coming from places like that of DC, Boston, Philly, New York, Chicago. They're used to that walkability. Now, here's the key difference though. Beachfront is a little bit more trophy and prestige. Riverfront and the Las Olas lifestyle is a little bit more about the daily livability. Less tourist traffic, less spring break energy, more full-time residents and things to do. You got more primary home buyers. It really does feel a little bit more residential, and these are some large units. Six in Rio is a boutique-style riverfront building with direct Riverwalk access, plus you can take the water trolley right across. Ombelle is more of a lifestyle forward tower with 100,000 square feet of amenities space right there. Then Andare is the first tower coming to Las Olas over 20 years. Viceroy brings global branding into the urban core rather than the sand, and these projects sit in that mid to high luxury pricing tier. Not necessarily entry level, but generally below the St. Regis ultra beach tier. You can be as low as the mid 500s. This category decides to attract full-time residents, buyers who value a little bit more walkability. They want the energy, but without the chaos. And people are thinking a little bit more long-term. Now, from a macro standpoint, downtown Fort Lauderdale is still maturing. There's ongoing infrastructure investment, more restaurants opening like that of the Caviar Club in Ocean Prime, more density coming, more corporate relocations and jobs which we need. That usually supports long-term appreciation. Then you also have the urban walkability in South Florida, which is still limited. And when supply is limited, demand tends to compress pricing a little bit upward over time. Now, if we zoom out and look at the growth patterns, Riverwalk and Las Olas sit in what I'd call a strong appreciation corridor. It's central, it's active, and it's honestly not going anywhere. And as more people move here wanting that city lifestyle without the Miami intensity or that big city vibe, this pocket becomes more and more valuable. Actually, there's a lot of families moving here too. Beachfront is a little bit more emotional. Downtown Riverfront could be a little bit more strategic. But there's another category that's quietly becoming extremely popular with everyone. And it has less to do with the location and a whole lot more to do with timing. So let's talk about projects delivering soon or that you can already move into. Now let's talk about timing, because not all new construction is 3, 4, maybe even 5 years out. Actually, some of these buildings are done or even delivering soon in 2026. And that completely changes the way you look at it as well as the risk profile. So right now you've got a couple options. On the beach, you have Selene, which is completed, Pier 66 as well, which is technically in the water too, delivering and operational. And then you have Six in Rio right behind me, which is projected to deliver here in Q3 of 2026. These aren't speculative land plays anymore. You can actually walk through them, feel them, evaluate them, and actually see yourself living in them. But here's what most people actually miss. Pre-construction is usually your lowest entry point for a lot of these projects. But once the building is near completion, like this one, or completed, when people can walk the lobby, see the views, actually experience the amenities and the finishes, demand often accelerates. And honestly, so does the pricing as well, if we're gonna be honest. Because now it's actually real, it's tangible. It's not just pictures and promises. It's an actual condo and a unit. At this stage, inventory is a little bit tighter. You're not picking from 40 different floor plans. What you're doing is actually choosing from what's left, specific lines, views, and the floor plans. Sometimes that works in your favor. Sometimes though, it might not. But you also have clarity, because now here's where the strategy matters even a little bit more. Near delivery, developers care about the absorption and closing out the inventory. They want to go to the next project, which can sometimes be beneficial for you and mean closing cost credits, design or furniture incentives, some flexibility on the deposit. Honestly, we can get that quite a bit. Not always, but sometimes. And you won't know it unless you know how to negotiate correctly, because it's not the same as single family homes. Buying near delivery definitely reduces a lot of risk. You don't have to worry about any construction delays, material substitutions, 3 to 4, maybe even 5-year market swings, as well as the execution risk. You know exactly what you're getting because you can honestly see the views and you can touch the finishes. Now you can also review the HOA budget because people have already started moving in. It becomes a much more transparent purchase and kind of what you're used to at the end of the day. And I've seen this happen too many times. Buyers tour during construction, love it, and then say, oh, we'll come back once it's all finished. Then you have the building finished, momentum builds, and that same line is now $150,000 to $200,000 more expensive because psychology shifts when something is complete and you can touch it and it's tangible. Pre-construction is faith and patience. Near delivery or delivered is clarity and execution. Now, don't get me wrong, both of these strategies work. They're just very different. So now that we've really covered the beach tier, the waterfront tier, and the near-term delivery opportunities, let's actually talk about which strategy makes sense for you and your family, because not every building fits every person. All right, let's simplify this, because we've covered beachfront luxury, downtown walkability, near delivery timing, but what really matters at the end of the day is this. What type of buyer are you? What lifestyle are you looking for? Because the right building depends entirely on that. If you're living here full time, definitely have to choose lifestyle first, not necessarily price, hype, or branding. Lifestyle. Do you want beach energy or downtown energy at the end of the day? Do you want quiet or a little bit more activation, things going on? Privacy or amenities? Walkability matters a lot more than people think too. Being able to walk to coffee, dinner, and even the Riverwalk, that changes your daily life. Trust me, once you live on the water, you don't want to move back. Pay attention though to HOA strength. Full service buildings definitely cost a little bit more monthly, and that's fine if you're actually using what you're paying for. I'm gonna be honest, I only use the gym and the sauna in my building. For end users though, this is about the daily quality of life. Now, if this is a second home, brand matters a little bit more. St. Regis, the Ritz, recognizable names, that helps resale liquidity later down the road. You also want lock and leave simplicity, security, concierge, maintenance completely handled. You're not here full time at the end of the day, ease becomes the priority. And that's where branded beachfront towers usually shine and make a whole lot of sense. Now, if you're an investor, completely different conversation. Well, maybe a little bit similar, because you need to look at rental flexibility, lease minimums, the association restriction, absorption timelines, the competing inventory on the market. Some of these ultra luxury buildings are not built for heavy rentals. You could probably just do annual rentals at most of them. And if multiple towers deliver at once, that can impact rental competition. Now, pre-construction can work, near delivery can reduce risk, but entry price and timing matters a little bit more. It's a balance. Now, here's the big picture with all this. The building that you choose matters a whole lot more than trying to time the market. You're not day trading condos. You're choosing location, brand, positioning, lifestyle alignment, and long-term demand drivers. If all those fundamentals are strong, timing becomes secondary. Honestly, the smartest buyers I work with don't ever really ask me, is this the perfect time to buy? What they are asking me though, is this the right building for how I plan to live and or use it? That's the better question, because in this market, strategy always beats hype. So here's the big picture. Fort Lauderdale is going through a massive development boom. Beachfront trophy towers, waterfront lifestyle buildings, projects delivering now finally, and then others coming soon. But not all the new condos are the same. We have different tiers that ultimately serve different clientele. Branding doesn't automatically mean better investment at the end of the day, and the loudest project isn't always the smartest choice. What matters is ultimately alignment. Alignment with how you want to live, alignment with your time horizon, and alignment with your risk tolerance. Because in this market, strategy matters a lot more than just hype. And the building you choose will impact your experience far more than trying to perfectly time the market. Trust me, it's really hard to time. Fort Lauderdale is evolving and the opportunity here is real. The key though is choosing the right lane. And if you found this helpful, I'll continue breaking down projects, pricing shifts, and what's actually happening here on the ground in the day-to-day Fort Lauderdale life, so you can ultimately stay ahead of everything. And I'll see you in the next video.